Yeah, it's your boy Danny J. Quick, and I'm here with Kyron Silva. And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie deal level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions respectfully brings to you the 155th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the wine, wordsmith of Aceblade, Danny J. Quick, and together we are your two award-winning Blurred comic creators here to help you find. I gotta sneeze, and I can't. Here to help you find your next favorite comic. We're live on the Aids to Geekdom Network by Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Danny's TikTok. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews, interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Scratch that. Apparently, we are not on Danny's TikTok. He just decided I'm not going to do it today.
We are live on Danny's TikTok in 30 seconds.
30. All right, chat, you hear that? 30 seconds. Go in 30 seconds. Go check Danny's TikTok to see if he's actually got it up and running because I doubt he will.
I got it.
You
3,
did?
2, 1, go. I'm good.
Okay. All right, man.
I didn't name it anything. It's just Four Tales Podcast, but it's live.
Bro, it bugs me that we can't use Restream like we used to with TikTok anymore. They gave it to us for like a minute and they're like, hey, yeah, we got to take it back. We can't use this anymore.
It was like, you got too much power now. Just shut it down.
Yeah.
But
I blame terrorists. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know why, but yes, me too.
Yeah.
I was going to say about your sneeze. You know that when you acknowledge the sneeze, it'll never come. Like when you have to sneeze, if you say I have to sneeze, you won't sneeze until, a long time later.
I call bull on that.
I'm telling you, it's happened for me every time. Every time I get the sense that I gotta sneeze, if I ask somebody, if I say, oh, hold on, I gotta sneeze, I will never sneeze. You just gotta let it go. You just gotta let it come out naturally.
Let it go, can't hold it back anymore.
Exactly. With the sneeze, can't hold the sneeze back anymore.
Yeah. Is there a song that when you hear the lyrics, you automatically have to start singing it? Like, is there any? Like,
I have I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, but every time, me and my middle daughter, we literally, if we hear song lyrics, we have to sing them. Like, it's a compulsion of mine. If I connect something that you say, even if it's not even if you don't mean it to be a song, if I hear you say it, I will start thinking of the song and it won't leave my head until I start thinking, oh, thank you, 363.
Whoa. What was that?
My TikTok. That was TikTok. Somebody send me 20 W's. Thank you, 363 more. Zoe, I appreciate that. See,
Okay.
I told you we were live on TikTok.
Okay, wait. Back it up. Somebody sent you 20 W's. What the hell is this? What is that?
So on TikTok, when you get you can set a goal for rewards or donations, and mine's is right now it's a little W emblem, which is like 5 roses worth.
Okay.
And 363 more is just donated all 20 of them. So my goal was 20 and it's already done. All right.
So how many of those W's do I get to share since this is our podcast right now that we're doing?
You get all of them. You get all the W's.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
William Withers in the chat. Good evening. Our guest today, he's got a big W right now on his Kickstarter.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
the first one out the gate. He's killing it here with Deathblade: The Awakening. We have
Hey,
the amazing creator E.A. Brown with the big W. What's going on, sir?
nothing much, man. What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me.
Nice, nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For anyone that's not familiar with your work, do you mind giving us a brief overview about who you are, what you've been working on, things like that?
Sure. Quick
Wait,
as
wait.
you say.
No, Kyron knows that those are my lines. And Kyron is I only do one. I only do two things on this show, and Kyron just stole one of them.
My
It's
bad,
okay.
man. My bad.
It's
My
all
bad.
right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Edward.
Yeah. I am actually work for a bigger company called Jackie Boy. It's go back 5 years. Um, I've been working in the entertainment field for this would be about 7 years now. Um, I got sick, and I'm a huge comic buff. You know, growing up, I always tell people 80s and 90s, those were the golden years of comics. I
Mhm.
grew up on those comics. Um, Wanted to be able to create my own comics. And of course, 46 years later, here I am. Um, I had a heart attack. I
Mm,
used to do IT sales, and
mm,
I still do work in the IT field, but I don't travel worldwide anymore. And I was, my doctor kind of put me, he said that he wasn't going to clear me to work. He's like, you're going to have to find something else.
Mm.
mm,
And my partner that I went to college with, Washington Adventist University, John Tillery, award winning gospel singer, had his own company. He was like, Ed, you've always wanted to write. Come and, do some movies. He's done some stuff on the movie side and music side. So I said, okay, sure. And right about that time, I was about to start creating my own comic.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with a company called Comic Republic out of Nigeria, Africa. They went
yep.
to Comic Con and blew up. I mean, they just shocked the world. People was like, "What? We didn't think they could do that." Well, we signed them. I signed them to Jackie Boy, and then we helped them get their first deal on television. They signed a
Oh, wow.
contract, and right during that time, we were in COVID, and I was like, okay, I'm done with them. Let me go do my thing. I'm ready to do my thing. And
Mm,
so we started Skull Valley Comics. Well, actually, the first name was Ultraverse Comics, but then our legal team told us we couldn't use it because a French company had the name. So I like Ultraverse, but um, we we formed Skull Valley Comics, and it's been 3 years in the making for where we are now. I'm an avid writer. Um, I also have my co-partner. Um, his name is Phil Maddox. We work together really diligently on this book, Deathblade, and we really try to build a universe. Um, I'm a kind of a, I would tell people if there's anything they want to know about me is my imagination. You know, I want to do things original. There's really nothing original. I don't think, I think everything's been done is how you form and prioritize your story and how you tell it,
For sure.
and
For sure.
and definitely being able to understand, that that's what people are going to look at. So what people are going to find out about me that they're going to like, I'm a down to earth person. um, I love stories. I love movies. Me and my daughters, we go to the movies all the time. So definitely we're
Have you seen
definitely
Have you seen Sinners yet? Did you go see
Yes,
Sinners?
I just got through seeing it.
Yeah. Okay. I went and saw it. Me and my wife went and saw it last night. But I love movies too. Me and the kids. Tiana's not as much into like the
Mhm,
cinematography and stuff and how to
mhm.
make movies and stuff. She just likes to go. So we both enjoy it, but that's something definitely. So you were saying that you were a big fan of the 80s and 90s. I
Yes.
can definitely see it in Deathblade, man. I can see
Oh, yeah.
um some inspiration from some characters. Maybe I think somebody would say maybe a Spawn.
mhm.
Definitely with the flowing cape there. You got some amazing art on here, and I just had somebody on TikTok asked, how do you find artists? You know, I got my own way of finding artists. How did you
That's a good
get connected with your artists?
yeah, that's a good question. I want to give Kevin Golay of Ink Studios a heads up. Before we started, before starting to Skull Valley, I was trying to figure out if I was going to sell my book, just go to Amazon and sell it, or if I was going to do a Kickstarter.
Hmm.
And then I ran into Ink Studios at the time. They did Wesley Snipes' book, and that kind of impressed me on how they were doing it. And so um, I ended up connecting with Kevin. And at the time, we had already started Deathblade. We were already into the works, productions, story, artwork, and what we were trying to do. And it was kind of hilarious. He introduced me to Aleem at the Heroic Awards last year, in
Mhm.
Chicago. And we connected. And at first he kept saying, "Ed, let Aleem do this." Aleem had just finished the Diary of Sweet Pea,
Hmm.
big time on Kickstarter, and I'm definitely a huge fan of his. And he says, "You two would get along. You two would get along." Of course, he's from Philadelphia. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so obviously it was a combination, and we really connected. And it was hilarious because I said, "Okay, just you know, do a cover art for me," and I was going to be cool with it.
Hmm.
Aleem's team, Yusuf and Alfred, those guys, I don't know what they're doing in Nigeria, man, but those guys are bad. Those guys are amazing. Those guys are amazing. And I should know because doing the work with Comic Republic, I guess it just blew me off. It just blew me away because I already had an artist. I had an artist already. And when he did that cover and he did the change to M, I was like, I remember I was calling Brian, the writer for the book, and I was like, "Brian, we're in trouble. Someone got to go." And I was stalling for like 2 weeks to just figure out how I was going to do this. And from there, Aleem and me are like this. We're tight. And his group, Yusuf Shital, you guys remember that name. He is very talented. That guy he's the truth.
I love it. I love it. It's great to go to like to just have a network of people that you can lean on, man. It's really great. I
Yeah,
think that that's one of the things that the internet has opened up, but also kind of closed for people. I think
mhm,
because the internet, you have access to everybody.
mhm,
People aren't going out to shows and going out to events and things like that as much
mhm.
anymore, and
Yeah,
that's where you really meet the people who are
exactly.
really serious about doing the job. So I think it's great to and that's something I got to get better at. I'm not necessarily a person who who likes to go out and be around a lot of people, but
That's the next phase. That's the next phase because I was telling him, I said, after the Kickstarter, someone's like, "Well, Ed, you did a Kickstarter. Now you got to go do the Comic Cons." And I
mhm,
was like, that's a whole different
Yeah.
world. When I
yeah,
went to Chicago and I saw all those people, I was like, I was like, oh my God. I said, you can't put nothing weak out because they won't buy it and they will talk bad about you.
mhm.
I said, Kevin, you got to get me a super team.
Nice. Now you do have your Kickstarter for Deathblade that is live. Now I'm going to
Yes.
share that for our audience to see. Um, let's talk about the story about this. What
Yes.
is this story all about with Deathblade?
Well, this story starts off with a soldier by the name of Ambrose. He is, what you call an alpha male. He's part of an elite SEAL team. It's a routine mess. It's a routine mission that they go on. Something that they're normally, it's just something that they go through. No issues, no problems. But things change on this mission. He ends up on a mission, and his his team ends up dying. He ends up being a lone survivor of his team. And so as he's trying to figure out what's going on, something much darker and sinister is happening underneath. And as he's trying to find out what happened, he realizes that he enters into a world of a gothic old power secret society that is looking to take over the world.
Mm,
Hmm.
okay.
Okay.
I love it. I love secret societies. I love like hidden underworld stuff like that, man. I love that kind of stuff. And like I
Yes.
said, I think like I said, the comparisons to Spawn are of course gonna be there. I think I want to say Al Simmons was, what was he? CIA? He was a CIA
Yeah,
operative.
one of those CIA operatives. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but he died himself, but he died in his story. So your character lives, is the only survivor and runs
Yes.
into. So
But there's something much darker that people are going to, he's trying to find who he is, but there's something that he's going to find out that's going to even throw everyone off.
Oh,
awesome.
okay.
Awesome.
So
How many issues are you planning for? Is this going to be like a short run, 10, 12 books?
12
Or is it
issues,
gonna
12 issues
be, okay.
for Act One.
That's
And I
ambitious.
can tell you it is, it's explosive.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of surprises. And I will say this to people when they see Deathblade, Deathblade is a legion. It's not just one.
Mm,
And I'm just leaving
Oh,
it.
okay.
Forget about a book, but I'm leaving it at that.
Now that we do see the interiors here, along with
Yes.
those amazing covers, and it looks great. It definitely looks like a lot of action
Mhm.
for our readers or our listeners. Danny's actually mentioned it looks like Spawn, but what other books would you say compared to what you're putting out with this?
Well, one of the things, you know, I'm a huge Spawn fan, but one of the things that we really tried to do was try to develop our own identity.
mhm,
You know, that when you look at it, you would think, oh, yeah. But once you really read the book and you see more about who Deathblade is, then that's when you're going to really realize he's his own story.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things that people are not going to expect when they read Deathblade. They're going to be shocked. One of the things that I have to give to Brian, he did a really good job of spacing and really setting up the audience. So one of the things that I've always believed in, and I've always said this to everyone, is that we want your moment. I want you to read this book, and after you read it, you're going to say, like, Dad, I think I missed something. And you're going to read it again, and every time you read it, it's always something else. And then
mm,
you want to figure out, like, what did I just read here? I got that moment, which, and then after you read this, you was like, okay, I'm ready for issue 2, or I'm ready for issue 3. And so um, Brian did a really good job on that. Uh, and I have to give Chuck Caduce as well as editing and making sure that we really try to develop uh, a unique story. And one of the things I would tell people about Deathblade is think more of Interstellar. If you
mm,
think that, then you are going to be in for a really huge ride.
okay.
It's more mental. Like, I always say, I look at Moon Knight, his is mental. You don't see the physical. With Deathblade, we flipped it, and you're going to see the physical. He's not sure if it's real or if he's just bugging out, but you're going
Mm,
to see the physical changes. You're going to see him fighting within himself. And, um, I'm a huge, uh, I'm a huge fan of character development. You're going
mhm,
to see that. It's not just an action. We kind of set the audience up, and then we tell our story. And as you follow our story, you're gonna fall in love with the characters that we develop, and there's more characters that will come.
I love
Nice.
it. I love it. So I see you got a lot of I think one of the cool things about Kickstarter is,
Mhm,
like, especially in indie comics, is the variant covers, man. You got
mhm.
some great variant covers here. For the first issue, you got I see a coin on here. That's something that I wanted to do recently, man. I wanted to do
Oh,
a
it is.
coin. I see you already did it, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. I'm still gonna do it anyway.
Look at Danny stealing other people's ideas again.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it anyway. I just recently got the Aceblade pins
Oh, yeah,
in
that's
the
nice.
mail. Yeah, so and I was thinking about because Kyron and I we give out certificates to
Mhm.
the indie creators at comic book conventions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And in the military, were you in the military? Did you serve in the military?
No, no, I don't. But I have a lot of my family members that served in the military.
Okay, well in the military they do this thing where that's called a challenge coin, where
Okay.
the commander or a high ranking person in your brigade or battalion might have their own coin, and when they
Mhm.
go out and see soldiers who are doing a great job, they'll give them one of their commander's coins
Okay.
just as a recognition, and that's something always wanted to do. With Ace Blade, like give a coin to other creators, other comic book creators,
Nice.
but like I said, me and Kyron, we're doing for the podcast. We've been giving out certificates at shows that we've been going to, just to,
Yeah.
kind of build that um community and to
Mhm.
recognize folks for the great work that they do.
Yeah.
So don't be shocked when you see an Ace Blade coin. You're gonna be like,
Hey,
oh
man.
yeah,
Hey, man. Like I
I
said,
had I
I'm a
had the
huge
idea, but
fan.
you motivated me to go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. And I definitely got Ace Blade. I'm a huge Ace Blade fan. So
Hey, thank you,
I
brother.
definitely, support you on that. And one of the things that I wanted people to understand is when you're looking at the art that we were showing, the action art, it's
Mhm.
interior pages,
Yeah.
literally. It's not separate pages. That's one of the things that people are saying, "Oh, that looks great." No, it's interior. Um,
Mm,
the art, it just depicts exactly what we wanted. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of secrets that won't be revealed in issue one, but there's a lot of things you guys are thinking. Like, I know how people think. Sometimes you're used to thinking what you think you see, but
mhm.
then when you really see what Deathblade is, then you're gonna be like, wow, what these guys come
Mm.
up. Yeah,
Okay.
we've been cooking in the kitchen. We've been baking. We've been, doing what we need to do. But one of the things that I want people to understand about Deathblade is that one of the things that is unique about him is he kills evil, diabolical evil. Anything evil that draws to him, they kill it. So if they saw Spawn, he'll kill Spawn.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, I gotta ask, since we got Deathblade here, we got
Mhm.
Aceblade here, who wins in a battle between these two bladed characters?
It's
I need to know.
Ace Blade is dead.
I need to know what Deathblade's powers are first. That's the one thing I need to. I have to do some research because
Yeah.
Ace Blade doesn't have any power, so I need to know more about Deathblade so I can even
Wow.
stand a chance.
Gonna cop out
well,
on that question. Huh?
well, Ace. Well, I can say for Deathblade, he is a human being
Hmm.
Okay.
who is giving, who has been given abilities from a cosmic type of abilities, uh,
Mm.
and he has powers where the sword that he uses uh, gives him the powers to do. He does martial arts, but he's not agile. Think more of a forceful type of brawler.
Okay.
Okay. Sort of like
Um,
the Punisher type then.
Punisher, you can say that, but he has some finesse with what his style is, but he's not, he's he's a guy that's going to go through you.
Okay.
And he's not over powerful because he can be hurt.
Okay.
So
That's all I needed to know. Just as long as he can be hurt.
yes.
No, no.
So
I,
you already been successful
Well,
with
no, but there's something else though. I would say something else too I don't like giving spoilers, but
this is the place for it, though. This is
this is I can't give this because if I give this, everyone's gonna be looking for it. It's a hint. Well, there is a hint within the book, and that if you guys look enough, you will see it. But like I remember what I said, it's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
When you see him, it's not one person.
Okay.
So
He's Legion.
how close are you to being? Is the book completely done? Is it
Done. The book is done. Actually, I got all 4 books right here. It
okay?
just came in, and I'm about to actually do a video this weekend to reveal it and then put it on the Kickstarter, show everyone the books, and I'm excited. They're done.
That's
Now,
awesome.
when you say you have all 4 books, we're talking about the main book plus the variant covers, or are we talking
Variant
about
covers,
1 through
everything.
4?
They're all finished.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I thought it
wait
was.
till
I thought it was saying issue 1 through 4 was done. I was about to say, man. Okay, come on
No,
now.
not yet, man. Not yet. We actually just cracked issue 2. Um, Brian will uh, hopefully start working on it real soon. We
Okay.
have it all the way up to 3 already.
Nice.
We've already got it figured out. Um, it's going to be. I will say this: issue 2. You guys thought issue 1 was off the chain. We got some stuff for you guys. You guys have, and this is the reason why I love Shit Talk. This is the reason why I love Aleem and them. Just the shots, just the action and how they did it, the different things that we were able to do with some of the characters. M, as you guys saw, is one of the key characters within this story. He's a bad boy. So you guys are going to see a lot of different things. One of the things that we wanted to deal in my world is horror. Want to scare you, want to freak you out. You're going to start seeing that in issue 2, which I'm really excited about. Dealing with the vampires, dealing with the demons and monsters.
Vampires. What? Wait, whoa. All right.
Yeah.
I seen some of the demons and monsters on one of the variant covers. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of mess we get into.
It's one of the things that we if it's not broke, don't try to be cute about it, because people love, we fans love vampires, and we understood that. So we said, look, we're not gonna mess with that too much. So we created some villains, some creatures that you guys are gonna be like, yo, we really want to see what's gonna happen on that. And you see some of that in issue 1. So from the beginning, and you're going to see how that operates. And one of the things is we want to keep in a paranormal world. We realize that when you try to mix real world with paranormal, it don't really mix as well. So we're keeping it in that world. But if we have to go to a
I don't know. I just saw Sinners last night, and I think they did a pretty good job.
The Sinners is good. So, I mean, it's good. I think it's good. It's how they depicted the story.
Wait, don't spoil it. I haven't seen it. Don't
No,
spoil it.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, okay.
You're gonna get me started.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
I
spoil
liked
it.
it. I liked it a
Yeah.
lot because it was different, but I was wanting more, which shows me he's
Yeah.
got to make another one.
Okay.
I said we
Yeah.
won't talk no more.
Yeah, Daryl Murphy in the comments said, I just took a look at the comments. Never look at the comments, Daryl. Never look at the comments.
Yeah,
People are weird.
yes. It's a strange place, the comment section.
Just focus on our guest here, E.A. Brown, writer of Deathblade, which you guys
Definitely.
can check on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah. But in the meantime, y'all know what time it is. It's time for my favorite part of the show. Quick takes. Kyron, whenever you're ready. All right, Brother Brown. Quick takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. Yeah, I've been stalking you. I've been stalking your
Whoa,
social
don't
medias.
say it like that. Don't say it like
And
that.
You
I mean,
scared
well,
me,
it's
man.
true. It's true. It's
Can
true
you
though.
turn your phone
So
to silent, please, Mr.
I'm
Quick?
trying. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. So yeah, we're gonna ask you 5 questions. You're gonna have 45 seconds each to answer each one, and
Okay.
we're just gonna get it right off the top of your head. But these questions are just designed for our listeners, our watchers, to get to know you a little better. So it's not anything too crazy.
Mhm.
All right. I heard that you're a fan of the 80s and 90s comics. So I
Mhm.
want to know, what in your opinion is the best thing about 90s comics, and what is the worst thing about 90s comics?
I think the best thing about 80s and 90s comics was the story and the art, how the art depicted the story, how the characters were designed. Um, that is what really captivated me. I'm a huge DC fan because I
Mhm.
believed in how they depicted their characters, the development. You could follow it, and then of course with Marvel, it was just the art.
Okay.
And the worst thing?
And the worst thing, I would say, I don't know if there was anything worse. I would say there wasn't a lot of black characters at that
Yeah.
time. They were more sidekicks, type
Okay.
Very
deal.
true. Very true. Not a lot of diversity. Not a lot of diversity.
Right.
There you
Um.
go.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. I see that you have a reward tier on your campaign to
Mhm.
donate to the military.
Yes.
CB4K.com.
Mhm.
Calling out it, and it looks like they do comic books for kids, a nonprofit.
Mhm.
Why is that important to you?
It's important to me. I have a lot of my family members who served overseas, who served this country, and I want to give back to soldiers, to families. They like to read too. They're comic fans too, and so that's my way of giving back to them and letting them know that we care about them and we appreciate them securing us as a country.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it.
Right. Daryl, thank you for supporting, dude.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Question number 3. Now, I have to ask about this because I saw on something else on your Kickstarter. One of
Mhm.
your stretch goals is going to be, I believe, to get the Killing Machine, um, one of the books from y'all stable, and it is. I see it's compared to Star Trek. Okay, now if you know anything about me, I love Star Trek. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take any chance I can to talk about Star Trek. So I might be putting you on the spot here. So tell us how you would compare the Killing Machine to Star Trek.
I don't know if it's compared. I think Star Trek is its own. Star Trek, they're going out, they're discovering worlds. Um, the Killing Machine is something that's two different, distinct stories for me.
Okay. All
I,
right.
I, I don't see that.
It was in the log line. That's why I asked. It said the Killing Machine combines the thought provoking writing of Arthur
Yeah.
C. Clarke with the action and space battles of Star Trek. So,
Well, yeah, that's
maybe
kind
this
of
is
like
an
I would say Kevin and sometimes I can't take credit for that one. I have to blame Kevin and if he said that one. I didn't put that in there. So
I understand. I understand. I
Those are your
understand.
hype. Those are your hype people. They're just hype you up.
yeah, I know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So here's a kind of a controversial question, especially with all the recent um entries to this. But I know you talked about Wesley Snipes being on Kickstarter. I know you've probably seen Keanu Reeves did it most
Mhm,
recently. Transformers was
mhm.
on Kickstarter. So there's a big discussion in the indie community about if having these large publishers is good or bad for crowdfunding like Kickstarter. So just in your opinion, what would you say are some of the good things about having these large publishers on Kickstarter, and what are some of the bad things?
Well, I think what these large publishers are doing are, I think they're testing the market on certain things,
Hmm.
and they already have a fan base. And to be honest with you, I don't even know why they're on Kickstarter, to be truthfully honest. I would say Kickstarters are like for indies like us who are trying to get our stories out. Not
Hmm.
to say that, the mainstream, shouldn't do this. But everyone knows Transformers. I mean,
Hmm.
why do they need to be on Kickstarter?
I agree with you.
You know,
I've seen some good in it, but I
yeah,
mostly it's I agree with you. Why they don't they could just
they
go
don't
on.
belong there.
It does
It's
feel like it's a little bit of a testing ground for them to see how
yeah,
much interest people have in these things.
exactly.
Like, okay, if we hit goal, that's great. We at least recoup some of our costs. If we don't hit goal, we understand that this is where the market is for this. That's for me the pros and cons as a publisher. You can see where people are actually focusing their interest at.
Focusing the energy on. And see, that's where, but see, this is where I feel the power of indie. I've always said last year, indie really showed that there's a lot of creators like yourself, um, Weem, um, Concrete Comics, Tony in Advent Comics.
Mhm.
You're looking at true organic stories. And I told I told people, yes, I was a huge DC fan, but I've changed. I really don't care about mainstream. It's all indie for me because
Mhm.
I'm looking for original stories. I don't every story that they're telling, the multi-universe. How many times can you tell Spider-Man?
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool. You got other characters that you want to develop. They're not doing it. But I understand it because they're looking at it from a money perspective,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't get excited for that, Yeah, yes, huge Black Panther fan. I am a huge Black Panther fan. But that I don't see that money going into our community.
Right. That's the thing.
So, you know, I don't get too excited about that. And saying for me, I'm a huge Superman fan, but like I told someone earlier, I was on Al Mega's show on Comic Crusaders, and I told him, I said, if I had a chance, my dream job was to work at Marvel. That was my dream job. If you ask me today, I would tell you, mm-mm, I will go do my own thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Question five.
Absolutely. Go
Question
ahead,
number
Kyle.
five.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Question number 5. I was just gonna point out that Transformers is at $2.7 million right now on Kickstarter.
And
Um,
Deathblade has hit its goal. That's all we care about right now. It's just
yeah,
Deathblade.
yeah. That's but I'm just saying it would be nice if some of those Transformers backers would come over to projects like Deathblade, but we just don't see that happening, and
Well,
and that's the
you think
that's the thing that's disappointing.
I think one of the challenges that I'm seeing now more than ever is getting above the trees. I always tell people it's great to have your story, but you got to get above the trees so people can see you. You
Mhm,
got to get in front of people. Say, here's an alternative. Here's a look at this story. Give this story an opportunity, a chance.
for sure.
So trying to put ourselves out there. That's the difference between a transformer that's been out there. People know who they are. I'm a huge fan. It's comics. I'm a huge fan for him. But at the end of the day, you're just reshuffling something that I've already seen. So if I was a creator, and I think the comic book universe is looking for something new,
Yeah, I think so too.
and
Or at least I
getting
hope
getting
so.
away from the gatekeepers, right?
Yeah. All right. So, question number 5. All right. Now, um, I saw in the description of Deathblade, you talked
Mhm,
about Ambrose being the sole survivor, and he uncovers a chilling conspiracy that threatens to
mhm.
unravel everything he knows. Right. So, I want
Yes.
to ask you for the fifth question, we always do a top 5 list, get our guests to do a top 5 list off the top of their heads. So, I want
Mhm.
to ask you, what are your top 5 conspiracy theories? Now, these can be like legit conspiracy theories, or it could be something like, vampires are real, since vampires are in your story. So,
Mhm.
give me 5, your top 5 conspiracy theories.
So they have to be real, or they can be within the
Not
book.
In the
anything.
book is fine.
I mean, they can be anything.
Well, I think one of my top conspiracies is looking, and it's being with the world today. You look at how people are not critical thinkers, or you're looking at cult. what's happening right now with our president. Let's be honest, he is totally off the chain.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a whole nother level, which is not real. So we are living in a guy who's dealing with conspiracies from a political level. From my comic book, we're looking at a society that people don't even know exists, or they're trying to stay away where, they say, hey, look, this is not what's going to happen. But what happens is this society spills out into the streets,
Mm-hmm.
and it's through little cracks where, Ambrose finds out real quick that the world that he thought was safe is no longer safe. It's crumbling.
I always think about shows like, stories like this, like even with John Wick and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I think about like, do people not see this stuff happening on the streets? Like,
I mean, but let's be real. Like, like you look at the horror shows, Amityville Horror in New York. That's a real life. That
mhm,
happens in real life. I mean,
yeah,
my dad's a pastor. I've seen some crazy stuff.
yeah, hey, yeah,
I've seen some crazy stuff. You'd be like, what? And so there's different conspiracies, I think, from a political to a spiritual type of aspect. You
hmm
know, you have people you know, who believe in witchcraft or who goes into, you have gothic people who actually believe there's vampires out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people trying to be vampires. But
Exactly.
anyway,
Exactly.
we'll move on from there.
Yeah,
We appreciate you doing that, brother Brown.
no problem.
This week, Quick Takes has been brought to you by our sponsor over at Gemini Comic Supply. If you go over to GeminiComicSupply.com and use the promo code Aceblade, you'll get 10% off your entire order. Yeah. All right, Kyron, back to you.
All right. We appreciate you being on and telling us about Deathblade. Yeah, this has been a fun conversation, but we want to make sure our listeners, follow you and follow everything that you're doing. Where's the best place on the internet that people can keep up with your work and keep up with, what's going on with Deathblade?
They can follow us on our two Instagrams on Deathblade AWK and Skull Valley Comics on Instagram. And you can go to our website at skullvalleycomics.com, but we're in the process of actually changing our website. It will debut after the Kickstarter. So you can follow us there. And also we're on Facebook. We just started our Facebook followers, and it's Deathblade AWK. You can go there and follow us as well. And if you haven't followed us on our Kickstarter, go to our Kickstarter, sign up, and I got something for you guys as well. I don't know if you guys are following us or not. Our STL wrestling figurines, we are actually offering that STL file. So for those who like creating their own figures, we have Deathblade, and we are in the process of finishing in. But we showed a character that will be in issue 2. His name is Varen. He's a interesting character. So definitely go out. Definitely check us out.
Okay.
I love it. My sister just got a 3D printer too.
Yeah, there you go. And I just bought one of your you just had a Kickstarter when you had Aceblade figure. I bought that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got them sitting right there in the corner. I'm ready to ship them out.
Oh, I can't wait.
There we go. There we go. Kyron, go ahead, man.
I'm just waiting for somebody to acknowledge me at one point on this damn show.
Hey,
But,
man,
it's never going to happen.
Hey, Kyron, you know what? I appreciate you, man.
I just want one of them shirts. I just want one of them Shaman's Destiny crossover shirts. That's all I want.
All right, Danny, where can people check you out? And make it quick before I kick you off the stream.
We're gonna be at Acme Comics in Greensboro, North Carolina for the Free Comic Day block party coming up. But if you want to follow me, the best place to go is our website, fourthwallpros.com, and on social media it's at the Aceblade on all social media platforms. Kyron, where can people find you?
You can follow me at Acme Comics. No. You can follow me and all my work at Taurus Comics on all social media platforms. You can check out my books at tauruscomics.com. Oh my God, Danny is playing with his Lego figurines. All right, this show is over. Join us next week, though. Well, actually, let me back this up. If this is the first time you ever checked out our podcast, please go to our website, fourtalespodcast.com. That is the number 4, TALES podcast.com. You can check out our previous episodes. You can buy some merchandise, support us that way. Join us next week, though. It's the end of the month. So that means it's Fun Friday. Danny and I are going to be playing Fortnite. So it's Fortnite Friday. We're going to see how this goes. You can watch us die many times, just like we did the first few times.
Last time it didn't go so well.
So which character are you using, Danny?
I play with Shuri. I usually play with Shuri, Black Panther Shuri.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Kyron, who you got any new skins?
I got Leonardo.
Leonardo still doing Ninja Turtles?
That's all I need. I got Leonardo and Silver Surfer's board. I'm good.
Can you bring Aceblade on there?
You can't make custom skins, unfortunately.
No. Unfortunately, you can't.
Yeah,
you have to look. I just gave you something.
I mean, you can build your own like custom server with your characters and stuff like that, but it takes some doing. I know some creators, the Tuskegee Airs creators have theirs. But anyways, yeah.
Anyways, until then, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
Yes.
I want to know what it is quick is trying to say.